Arsenal 2, West Ham nil. Finally, we get past this West Ham hoodoo. You know, past couple of seasons at home, we fell to West Ham. And, just the fact that we could get over the line is big. It's a great, thing. I'm not even feeling too well myself, but, as fans, we show up wherever, whenever, ensure we're there watching the match. And looked at the lineup, saw Rice in the sixth with Eze and Odegaard either side of him, Trossard, Saka on the wings with Gyökeres up front. I said, cool. This is a super attacking lineup, and let's give credit to Mikel because look, when we don't like the lineup, we're one of the first to voice that we don't like the lineup. But listen, talk about taking the handbrake off. I feel like he went into sixth gear with that lineup. Obviously, you know, due to the fact that West Ham, had put Nuno in charge just ahead of this game, we knew in terms of even like structure and whatnot, they were gonna ensure that they were resolute, two backs of four and whatnot. Listen, I mean, first minute of the game, we saw what they were on, literally win a corner. And to be honest, can't lie, Rise in no man's land from when the corner starts flying in. And yeah, Fulcrum makes, a connection with the ball, but he doesn't get on target. If he gets on target, it's starting to look crazy. Well, no, within the first minute, it looks mad. It looks mad. But fortunately, that didn't happen. We got a win today. Happy days. Obviously, going ahead with the international break, you want to have the momentum. And listen, Newcastle away and, West Ham at home, these are two fixtures last season where we dropped points. So just the fact that I've seen us get maximum points from that's beautiful. And obviously we know about all the highs emotionally from, the Newcastle fixture, but you got to consolidate that with a win, midweek and against West Ham. And we've done that, so that's fantastic. Unfortunately, we saw Odegaard go off though for injury, which was concerning. I mean, this is the third time at home this season in the Premier League, Leeds, Forest, and now West Ham. Leeds Forest innocuous shoulder. This one, I mean, it's tough because he dangles a leg out, and he ends up twisting his knee. Listen, Odegaard, to be fair to him, Warrior wanted to battle on, but it just, it wasn't right for him to continue. Look, when I talk about how unpredictable, things in football are, these are the type of things I'm talking about. Three, freakish kind of like injuries to Odegaard. You've barely got out of phase one of the season. Things like this happen, which is why you need the squad, prepared to, take on these type of challenges. Fortunately, we had Eze, so we were able to put Eze in the 10, but Zubimendi came on. And Zubimendi, him going back into the 6 and then Rice alongside him, was in the double pivot, but with license to roam. I think that actually worked then. We saw that's how our first goal came about. Zubimendi, came onto the pitch and, was orchestrating, controlling things. And I think I looked at it and I was like, okay, cool. Ethan could have, came on, but I thought, first 20 minutes or so, we didn't really have control of the game. I thought it would be perfect for Martin Zubimendi to come on and, just kind of ensure that he dictates, things a little bit more and whatnot, and we keep, possession of the ball and also just kind of like maintain, that type of dominance in their half specifically, which is what Martin Zubimendi did. I mean, I can't lie, that first goal was class. I mean, the pattern of play is smooth. Zubimendi, just a lovely, incisive ball down the side, of the box for Eze. It's a great strike, to be honest, and good save from Areola. Rebounds, Declan Rice on hand, obviously controls it half volley, makes sure he keeps it just low enough, to ensure that it's on target, and it's a fantastic finish from Rice. Does a little jog around the side of the goal, no celebration from him. We take that. Rice, another goal against West Ham. I mean, seems to, have joy when playing against West Ham. Away at least, so to see him get a goal at home against West Ham, that was pretty sweet, to be fair. No celebration from Rice. We know he's a respectful young man. But yeah, man, this was key. I mean, against teams like this, you need to score, first, just to kind of have the game go your way in terms of even like, them having to push up and then you being able to kind of like, transition on them and get another goal. Because structurally, like I said, West Ham were top. Mavropanos was fantastic. Shout out to Konstantinos Mavropanos, I believe. Yeah, he was good today, but I mean, this is the goal that, kind of broke, I guess West Ham's whole ideal of just being able to just do two backs of four for the whole game. This is another game where I feel like we wasn't super efficient with our chances, but just the type of control we had, it felt like it was just the type of game where we should get another goal, but we've also seen movies where we don't get another goal. Some about West Ham equalize and whatnot. But I mean, second goal also comes from Zubimendi. It's a lovely clip ball over the top, for Yuri and Timber. He's in the tangle with Juve, and it starts outside the box and it ends, inside the box. I was actually surprised to see this one given as a penalty, though. I was surprised. I don't even know if it's a penalty for sure, but I mean, you take those ones. It was a foul for sure. That continued and just about ended inside the box. So, it's given as a penalty. Fantastic, clip ball from Zubimendi. This is how we get the opportunity again because it's the clip ball from Zubimendi. So I'm like, all right, cool, penalty. And then I see Saka stepping up and I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's warming the ball for Gyökeres to come and take the penalty. No, Saka sits the ball down and I'm like, oh, Saka's taking it. To be fair, if you ask me, I like to, make sure my strikers are well fed and scoring goals. But perhaps they've got a rotation policy. I don't know. But I think Gyökeres is a certified penalty taker, but Saka's been taking penalties for us. Perhaps because it was his 200th appearance, he wanted to get his 100th Premier League goal and assist. Perhaps that's why. If that's the case, then fair enough. And Saka does take penalties, for Arsenal anyway. So it's not crazy, but I just would have liked to see Gyökeres get on the goal sheet. You want to feed your strikers goals. You want them to be more confident. But listen, it's just a lesson anyways for York. Like, I mean, in terms of like, goals and whatnots and chances, you're not always going to get spoon fed. You'll have to find your way. It was a difficult game for him. He was, broiled in a really tough physical battle with Mavropanos, and I think he wasn't as good with his touches and his link up as he was against Newcastle and Olympiacos. And listen, he's having to do 90 minutes pretty much like every couple of days because we don't have Havertz, in this team right now. And listen, we're still adapted to Victor, the team's still adapted to him and whatnot. But listen, Saka steps up, buries the penalty, fantastic penalty, gets his 100th, goal and assist, and we've got to celebrate that. A 24-year-old. I mean, there's not even much to talk about. And you know what? I kind of like games like this. 3 p.m. kickoff, get the job done. Not much to talk about. We get to go under the radar, sit back, relax. We've got our 3 points. Now we watch Chelsea, Liverpool. We see what happens with that. But yeah, man, fantastic. Happy with the win. We move international break. We know what happened last international break. We had to think about Szoboszlai's free kick for 2 weeks. Now we can just relax and think about, progressing on as the season goes. But yeah, man, great day for us.